Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of the Ultimate Comics Podcast. My name is Nabeel and I'm one of your hosts.
And I'm Josh Kang, the other host.
And this is the podcast where we talk about Ultimate Marvel, an imprint of Marvel Comics that began in the year 2000 that was meant to update and reimagine Marvel and its characters for the 21st century and has been revived like 20 years later as well.
Yeah. But it's ending.
Yes, yeah, the new Ultimate Universe is ending just like the original did. The original Ultimate Universe consisted of titles like Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, Ultimate Fantastic Four, the Ultimates, you name it. And every episode, Josh and I have just been looking back and discussing a specific batch of issues from this line and just talking about what we like, what we might not like so much, what's aged well, what hasn't aged so well, and how Ultimate Marvel ultimately impacted Marvel and its characters across various media, including comics, video games, animation, TV, movies, yada, yada, yada. But this week we're talking about Ultimate Secret, and that is the second part in the Ultimate Ga Lak Tus trilogy. So last episode we talked about Ultimate Nightmare. Now we're on to part 2 of this trilogy. Josh, what do you think of these issues?
I like these issues. I feel what makes these issues really good, though, is that you could take the superheroes out of it and just have a fun sci-fi adventure. And I feel that's really true with Ultimate Secrets. And
Yeah.
I'm really interested about how this story goes, how Ultimate Ga Lak Tus all happens.
Yeah, that's true, because he's spelled very differently, and his name is like 3 different words in this version, because they wanted to make it a little different, I guess, which is fun
and
about
Ultimate.
Sci-fi.
Because let's be fair, if you just meet this guy from space and his name is I'm Space Addis, you go like, really?
Yeah. So now he's Ga Lak Tus instead of just Galactus. So I'm like, okay, that's fine.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I really like these issues. They introduce some staples from Marvel into the Ultimate Universe, some fun characters that we get here that are classic Marvel characters, and we also get the Fantastic Four involved in this too, which is great. After last time it was more of an X-Men Ultimates crossover, now it's an Ultimates Fantastic Four crossover, which is a lot of fun to see two big teams come together after seeing them featured so prominently in Ultimate Marvel. So I'm loving the crossovers. It's a very, like you're saying, Josh, fun, like sci-fi action romp that you wouldn't really necessarily need superheroes to make it a good story, but it's fun that they're there.
Yeah.
So I loved it. This is written by Warren Ellis and Steve McNiven for the first 2 issues, and then the last 2 issues of this 4-issue miniseries, illustrated by Tom Rainey. But Steve McNiven still does the covers for all 4, which are gorgeous. And I love the artwork in these issues too.
What does Warren Ellis? Was he famous for? Because that name is familiar to me, but I just can't think of it off the top of my head.
I mean, he's famous for Planetary with John Cassidy is a big claim to fame. Next Wave is a very fun one with Stuart Immonen, Agents of Hate.
Read Next Wave back in the day.
Yeah, Next Wave is super fun. I love Next Wave.
That's Mayday, right?
No, that's not. That's
Never mind.
Elsa Bloodstone, Machine Man, Monica Rambeau. Really fun title. It's a shame. Warren Ellis, I do love as a writer, but I think we've mentioned previously he does have some problematic allegations and controversies surrounding him. So
kid stuff or racist stuff?
Not either of them, really just Me Too stuff generally about taking advantage of the fact that he is a famous comic book writer and in a position of fame and power and taking advantage of that situation, coercion, things like that. Anyways, yeah, he's a pretty controversial figure, and I like his work. It's just unfortunate what has come out in years since, but these are some solid issues.
I feel when you get canceled, you're now canceled for 3 things. Racist, the bigotry, racism, homophobe, that kind of stuff. Yeah. The Me Too stuff. And the third one is Epstein Diddy level stuff.
Yeah.
It comes in waves.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's so many different reasons why people have been canceled over the years in culture, and it's not great learning these things. They're pretty disheartening and discouraging to learn about some of your favorite artists and writers and things like that.
If you want to see them live at an affordable price, you go to the Egg in Albany, by the way.
Don't do that.
What?
Don't go to Albany, anyone, ever. No offense if you're from Albany, but there's really nothing there. I'm sure people from Albany would agree with me. You went to Albany, Josh, you know.
Yeah, I spent many a long weekend in Albany just seeing if I want to live there. It's it's a big city. It's $250 a month for rent. And then you find out there's not much to do. There's a world-class stadium for like venues like music and comedy and theater there called the Egg because like a billionaire just built it because he was bored in Albany. Really, that's the story of it.
Yeah, it's
But
not anything.
like the big acts generally don't go there. It's like the B tier acts, which is fair, which is fine because that's like an affordable price for a decent show. But a lot of the acts are like formerly A tier who got demoted to B tier for like really controversial stuff, like they got canceled.
Yeah.
And so you could just watch them at an affordable price in Albany if you want. Like we could
So,
probably get a venue in Albany with the audience we have.
well, next time you might catch us recording an episode from Albany. Anyways, digging into the story, let's just jump right into it with issue number 1, which begins with a bunch of soldiers guarding this military base, this shield base, this checkpoint.
Yeah, it's a common theme, especially like it's a 2000s theme, but like I feel like it'll still probably work. Is like soldiers at a checkpoint, just like checking IDs into a
Yeah,
government
so
facility.
it seems like a very important shield facility in New Mexico, which we all
Yeah,
know is Josh's favorite place in the world. You know, we'll release a bonus episode one day where you describe all your horrible experiences in New Mexico.
yeah.
But yeah, it's this shield facility, and Dr. Philip Lawson, who longtime Marvel fans will probably recognize that name, he's greeted and is ordered to give ID because it's a very tightly like wound like security detail that they've got on the space. So, you know, all these big scientists gather together, and we got our first appearance of Carol Danvers
Yeah,
in this one, where she's like on security details. She's Captain Danvers. She's like the one leading the charge, and she's running a tight ship. It's like the big day for a big reveal for this big project, and she's like no nonsense. She like threatens to arrest any troublemakers, no matter what their rank is.
she's also mentioned technically in the very first page because there's a scene where the soldiers are annoying a guy and he goes like, "I don't want to do an ice scan." They go, "It's been ordered by Captain Danvers."
Yeah,
Yeah,
so like this is a big deal. And so they reveal a new form of space travel that they're
yeah,
unveiling, this rocket ship called Aces.
yeah. I do you know what it's a reference to or?
I don't know. No,
My spell
actually.
check kept like correcting it to Asia, and I'm like, I'm getting really tired of like typing one space back and going like
Yeah.
Asus.
Yeah, it's like, did
No,
you mean Asia?
and I'm like,
Like,
no,
no,
for the
I
last
don't
time,
think
no.
I don't think this ship is named after a continent.
Yeah,
No.
I also find it weird that she's a captain because usually like at this point like
Yeah.
she's a colonel in like the comics. No,
Yeah, it's like Major Carol Danvers sounds
that would
about
make more
right.
sense because like captain in
Yeah.
the Air Force is not like a super high rank.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, at this point too in the main comics she wasn't even like Captain Marvel, so there was no point in like synchronizing that.
Yeah,
I don't know, but you know, it's Ultimate, so everything's a little bit different. Like, you know, instead
yeah,
of Colonel Nicholas Fury, it's General Nick Fury and
that one makes
Ultimate, you
sense
know.
though.
It's
It's just
like
one
slight
rank more.
differences like
It's
that.
one
Yeah.
rank more. You know.
Yeah.
Dr. Storm is here, but Reed isn't. He says he's busy
Yeah.
with something. And Ace is a special because it's a new form of space travel, like you said, but it's powered by 0 point energy, which it uses to power a nuclear electric reactor, which is like a real sci-fi
Yeah.
concept.
And they go through so much trouble to explain it and all the different forms of like energy that like power shuttles and rockets and my humanities brain was like checking out during this. I'm like, we get it, Warren Ellis. You're showing off all the research you did about this.
I
Jesus.
also
Yeah.
study the humanities, but I also have an energy degree. So technically, I was nerding out. Because
Yeah.
0 point energy, if you know your sci-fi, it's like a really low-hanging fruit though. Is the energy used for Syndrome's weapons in The Incredibles?
Oh yeah, I remember. I can hear Jason Lee's voice in my head when I read the words 0 point energy. He's like 0 point energy. And he's like monologuing to Mr. Incredible. That whole movie lives rent free in my head. I could
It's a great movie.
recite.
It's a great
Yeah.
Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah. I mean, I will argue once again that, like, all right, they're not exactly the Fantastic Four, but you can tell that, like, it is a very clear homage to the
Yeah,
Fantastic Four. Yes.
yeah,
But yeah, that's a fantastic movie. And I always think of it when I hear the word 0 point energy.
yeah.
But yeah, they're talking, yeah, about oh like how great it is, like it's a super fast ship, it's like 20% the speed of light, and they want to
Twenty-five
use it.
percent.
25%, wow, and they
Yeah,
want
five
to
percent
use it.
faster.
Yeah, they want to use it for space colonization. They're talking about like, how easily you could take a trip to like Mars within a few days on this ship and
Yeah,
things like that, and about how you can visit other planets, and everyone's so excited. Like, this is the next big thing in
yeah.
space travel.
But the other thing, which is interesting, because now we're talking about colonizing Mars again.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
all the
If
wrong
you
people are talking about it. Yeah.
ASUS, I don't think it's possible, but like you could just use it to just like commute to England from like Canada or like New York,
Yeah, you could do that
commute to
in like
London.
half an hour, maybe
Yeah,
like 10 minutes, honestly, at the rate this thing's going.
I'd be ticked if I go like, "Hey, you're taking a job in London, but you gotta stay in the East Coast. You just will commute." I'm like,
Yeah.
that's gonna be cool for like 1 week, and it'll get old super fast. But okay.
Yes. But, like, all the best laid plans, as they say, as everything is foiled when there's like a big security breach, a bunch of big explosions, soldiers are killed on the site in New Mexico,
Yeah,
and everyone's like looking out from the window in this building. All the scientists are looking around, and Dr. Lawson, who we saw enter at the beginning, he like hits his watch and flips a switch, and his eyes turn green and start glowing as he looks out at the explosion, and he sneaks off, and he has this big like suit up montage, basically, where he like suits up in this Kree armor, so we can tell, oh, it's Captain Marvel, the OG, like Marvel. He's
yeah.
Captain Marvel. So he takes on this giant like machine, like alien machine really,
Mhm.
that is attacking and starts fighting it. And it mentions that it was sent by Jan Rog, who is, for those who know Captain Marvel lore, is like the first like big villain of Captain Marvel that he
It's
faces.
he points out this isn't Kree, but it's like Kree technology. So
Yeah.
like, and that the mission of this attacker is to make sure humans don't leave Earth.
Yeah, the Kree are like there to make sure that humans don't travel into space for reasons that will be explained later. But it's this
Yeah,
big like action, like beat 'em up, like fight scene between Captain Marvel and this Kree machine, and then he gets on the ship and tries to like save this like 0 point energy reactor, and there's a giant explosion that ends the first issue. So it's a lot of setup in the first half of the issue, but it really pays up with a lot of like fast-paced action at the end. I'm like, all right, I'm invested, like I'm pulled in, let's go.
I also find it interesting that the evil robot looks like Ultron. It's not Ultron, but it looks just like original Ultron.
Yeah, that's a good point, honestly.
Uh,
There are some similarities there.
and issue 2 just starts with him finding soldiers, and he gives them the reactor, and he says like, guard it with your lives or else. And I'm like, just threaten these poor guys who are just confused, and you just gave them this equipment. You go like, hey, make sure you guard this, which is your job, or else. And I'm like, you're a dick, man.
Here,
especially
take this.
especially because he sees a robotic and calls it the R word.
Yeah, no, he uses a pretty bad slur against this robot, calls him the R word, and I'm like, that's how you can also tell this was written in the 2000s. And also, where did you learn that language, Mr. Kree Marvel? Did you learn that watching TV while you were on Earth?
Probably
Kree
that's
spy?
everywhere in like the
Yeah.
2000s.
Yeah, they use that word an unfortunate number of times in early 2000s pop culture. There's a lot of use of the R word,
I think
sadly.
as a kid growing up, I don't know how it was like in your elementary school. The R word was a very common word because no one knew the F word. No one knew
Yeah.
like the other slurs. We just knew the R word, and people would just throw it out all the time.
Yeah, and it's ugly and it's shitty because especially just because it was used to mean stupid or dumb or whatever, and I'm like, you
Yeah,
shouldn't be saying that.
yeah.
But
It's
yeah, the big fight finishes up. Marvell destroys the robot, but there's a giant explosion that comes from it, and he's barely conscious. And as he's passing out, all these soldiers are approaching him, and he's like, "Hey," he's delirious, which is the funniest part. He's like, "It's me, I'm Spider-Man."
blip
Thwip
blip.
thwip, which I think is hilarious because I'm like, if you want these soldiers and law enforcement officials on your side, the last person you want to claim to be is Spider-Man.
No, but Shield
He's a
likes Spider
public
Man.
menace. Yeah.
But Shield claims ownership of Spider Man, so it's okay.
That's true. They do
Yeah.
claim him as like genetic property, which is probably even worse because that's how you know you're going to end up getting taken into custody. And that's where he wakes up, is like in an interrogation room. And Carol Danvers, hard ass that she is, gotta love her for it, literally
Yeah.
is like, yeah, we put plastique on your suit because we couldn't remove the armor. So, like, one wrong move and she's got the detonator and she's like, I'm gonna blow you up. So it's like, yikes.
Yeah.
This is a rocky start to their relationship,
That
as we know.
they're associated usually together, Carol and Marvell.
Yeah,
right?
because her origin is like directly tied to him. Yeah.
I kind of forgot Marvel is in the MCU as well. His Jude Law.
No, that's Jan Rog.
Oh, really?
Marvel is they gender swapped it. So Marvel is actually a
That
woman
old
in
lady.
the MCU, which is how you get people going like, "Oh, it's so woke. Oh, woke trash. They made
That's one of the better
Marvel a
ones.
woman."
That's one of the better ones, in my opinion.
I'll be so real. I don't really care too much about Marvel as a
Yeah,
character. Like, Carol's the interesting one. Okay,
exactly.
and if you want to go even deeper, like the best Captain Marvel is Monica Rambeau, if you ask me. I love Carol Danvers. I don't get me wrong, but you read Roger Stern's run in the '80s, and Monica Rambeau is Captain Marvel. I'm like, hell yeah. I mean, I love
Uh,
her as Photon too, and whatever, but like, she's my favorite.
I really need to see the Marvels movie. It was on my list. I just didn't watch it. But
It's all right.
the other thing is that like I love Carol. I read some of her comics, but her origin is just one of the trickiest and oddest origins there are. And Marvel
Mm-hmm.
just makes it more complicated. So
Yeah, I feel like you have to start with Marvel for
yeah,
Carol because I think what's interesting about her as a character is she's a legacy of the original Captain Marvel. He's kind of like, the Uncle Ben or the Barry Allen, if you would,
yeah.
to her Peter Parker or Wally West. I feel
It
like you can't have Carol Danvers without Marvel tied
you
into her origin.
you can a bit because they retconned her recently.
Oh, where she's half Kree.
Yeah.
I mean, that's also true. But the accident that gives her powers, I mean, you can just
No,
say,
she
oh, it's
always had her powers. She always had her powers. They're just
well, the
waiting for it.
accident activated her Kree genetics or whatever. Whatever, man. You can't the accident still happened. It was there. She knew Marvel. She's
Accident.
naming
If we
herself Captain Marvel to honor him.
an
Let's
accident
move
would have
on,
happened
guys.
eventually at one point or the other, one thing or another. She could have tripped really hard, and that would have activated her Kree powers.
It doesn't matter. She
Mm-hmm.
still took the name to honor him. They're
Yeah.
tied and irrevocably. Anyways,
Yeah.
so yeah, then Captain Marvel is like, you know what? I'm gonna voluntarily take off my armor. You don't have anything to worry about. And he reveals himself as Dr. Lawson, shocking Carol. She's like, what? Like,
But
no
she also was
way.
like, we always suspected you were like a spy or something. We always
We
suspect.
didn't think you were an alien though. Like,
Like,
that's a bit too far. Like maybe you were like, I don't know, working for the Russians or something. I don't know.
the commies.
Maybe like yeah, like I don't know, North Korea, I don't know, some kind of terrorist group. I don't know, but like damn. At first he tries to lie his way out of it and he's like, "Oh, I made this armor out of Stark Tech and I'm a hacker." And she's like, "Come on." And he's like, "Okay, you asked for it. My name is Marvel and
Yeah.
like I have this rank which is analogous to captain in the Kree army. So I want to meet with General Fury." And then Nick Fury just is there at the doorway just waiting for him.
She also says Shield was like, I'm willing to torture you too. By the way, we have a special division for it.
Yeah, like she's hardcore.
Yeah.
And gotta respect her for that
Yeah.
a little bit.
I'm okay with
But
torturing aliens, just not people or dogs.
I mean, I'm not okay with torture generally, but like, no.
When you see an alien, you gotta
What's
study them. You don't know if they're coming to take over Earth.
this is like Bigfoot and the Sasquatch all over again.
Exactly.
No, all right.
Yes.
We should not just be going around torturing aliens willy nilly. Maybe talk to them first. I think
We
they're a
are
little
tough.
harsh on him.
Well, like, because he just showed up at a government facility and he revealed himself
And he
to be a
saved them.
spy. We
Yeah.
don't know. They don't know that.
Anyone who saw that fight knows.
Yeah.
But Nick Fury shows up and talks to Carol in the hallway, and Danvers is like, "Yeah, his name is." She really misinterprets what he says and is like, "Yeah, his name's Captain Marvel, and he's a spaceman from the Cree Indian tribe," which is such a funny misinterpretation of the whole thing. And even Fury's like, "I think we're supposed to call them Native Americans now." Like what? But it's so funny because it's like, no, that's like just it's like you played a game of telephone with him.
Because Cree is like, what's the word? It's like, if you've never heard the aliens Cree, you're just going to assume, oh, like that tribe in like Canada. I think they're in
Yeah, because
Canada.
you can't like see it spelled out, but it's like
Yeah.
spelled with a K instead of a C. So Marvel is like, no, it's Marvel, Cree with a K. I'm an alien. All right. I was here on a mission to like observe humans and just the planet Earth, but like they literally like gave him an extreme makeover, like surgically to make him look like a human. And
Ew.
he makes a joke about like, yeah, if I like end up like dating my cousin and like making like a sex tape, you may as well call me a reality TV star at that point. And I'm like, that's actually a really funny 2000s joke. I get that, having grown up in the 2000s. He does remind me of one of those celebrities. Got a little work done.
Yeah. I just love like these references to the 2000s. reality TV that's not really a thing anymore. It's just all these stuff just so
I mean,
dated.
it's still a thing.
Is it really? Like, really?
Yeah,
Like,
I mean, in some form, I think like the popular type of reality TV has shifted into more like, you watch people do like the Great British Bake Off or something
okay,
instead.
that's a game show. That's a variety show, not a reality
A
show.
game
Those have
show is
always
still kind of a reality show.
no. It's a different category. You could get an Emmy for a variety show. You can't get one for a
I know
reality
people who
show.
still watch The Real Housewives.
That's a thing. I thought that was
Yeah.
like that's not been a thing forever. We're just joking about it.
No, it's still it's real.
That makes me incredibly upset, honestly.
Yeah, it should. It
That's
upsets
a
me
trashy
too.
show full of trashy people.
I'm
Because
not
like,
going to argue with you on that one.
do you watch it? How did you know this
No.
was a thing? Okay.
Oh, also The Bachelor. What am I talking about too?
Okay,
And
is
The
The Bachelor a
Bachelorette.
reality show or like a game show?
I'd say both.
He also mentions like, oh, it's an observation movie. We mission. We stay off Earth because you guys are savages with nukes.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong there, buddy.
I mean, we keep the nukes for you guys, the aliens. Just
Yeah,
saying.
that's true. Yeah, to go up against the aliens.
Yeah.
But like Fury's really aggressive with him. He like beats on him and starts threatening him. And Marvell's like, "Hey, I'm on your side. No need to like aggressively interrogate me. I'm a defector. I'm defecting from my people." And he's talking about, and he does. This is where it gets real because then he's like, "Oh yeah, we were sent to watch as you all get killed by Ga Lak Tus, as
Ga
was
Lak Tus.
mentioned." Yes, Ga Lak Tus at the end of Ultimate Nightmare was first brought into the picture. So this is how it kind of ties all together. Like this is how you can tell, oh, this is the sequel to Ultimate Nightmare. And he was sent mainly just to monitor their spaceflight program. But he's like, oh yeah, the Kree don't want you guys leaving Earth. They want to watch as you're destroyed by Galactus. And so Fury talks to Carol Danvers and he's like, all right, I want Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Sue Storm. I want them all on the phone right now. I want all my best geniuses. And so then we cut to the Baxter building and Reed is explaining to Sue this whole Drake equation idea that goes way over my head, but
it's a real equation.
Oh, it is? Okay.
Yeah, Drake and Fermi paradox are real concepts.
Well, the whole long and short of it is there should be like 10,000 different alien races is what he said.
Yeah.
In their universe. And it's so strange that they've only encountered one, the Chitauri, who showed up in the Ultimates that the Ultimates fought.
Yeah.
And this is what he calls the Fermi paradox that's really bugging him. Like, how are there supposed to be 10,000 alien races if we've only encountered one?
The Fermi paradox thing is that, like, if it's really unlikely for aliens to reach an advanced state, we should still have met some. So is there possibly something that keeps us from meeting them? Like, is there like a theoretically, once you reach a certain stage of development, something destroys your civilization? Is the idea.
Yeah, exactly.
And Sue's just horn dogging over him this whole time.
The whole time, for once I'm in agreement with you, Josh.
Thank you.
This is such a horny scene too, because she's like biting him from behind. She's biting his ear and nibbling on it. She's like kissing him. I'm like, oh, okay. It's a little much. Grr. Yeah, I'm like,
and
wow.
Reed threatens to bite her back.
Yeah, like they're a really horny young. I'm like, keep it in your pants, guys. Jesus Christ, are we talking science here?
Sue is like really horny the first like 2 or 3 issues of this like comic.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, pump the brakes here, all right?
Yeah.
I mean, I know what he can do with his body, but damn.
Ew.
I'm just saying.
I was gonna say, like, I feel in media, and maybe in real life, I know you disagree, there's always a dominant and a more submissive person. Reed's more submissive.
Here we go.
But he's more advanced in their career, so you get an interesting dynamic. But also Sue does make an interesting point where she goes like, maybe the answer to the Fermi paradox are the Chitauri, that they're advanced enough and they just stop other people from reaching a certain level by wiping them out before they reach that level, is her theory.
Well, I think they also conclude it's probably not likely because the Ultimates like easily took down the Chitauri, so they seem like kind of chumps, especially because the Ultimates struggled to take down the Hulk in Midtown.
Yeah, but the Hulk's like possibly a bigger threat if we reach 616, so who knows?
That's true, but also like the Chitauri are kind of small potatoes. They're all grunts,
Yeah.
Like all henchmen, no big boss there. And Sue actually concludes like, or maybe something has been destroying these alien races the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, that's ominous. And it kind of like leads into foreshadowing about what we'll learn as we go on in the story.
Some scientists think the reason aliens don't reach a certain level is because once they reach a certain level of technology, it might just induce climate change on their planet and that wipes them out. Or they nuke themselves to death accidentally. which is both those things are possible for us too.
Yeah, those are two very real possibilities with humans on planet Earth in the real world, sadly. But yeah, then there it is really cute how like the phone rings and Sue and Reed like race to answer the phone with their powers. Like Reed stretches really far and Sue like blocks with her force field and like reaches out with those too. It's a very cute coupley thing.
I mean, counting their wins and stuff.
Yeah, which is
And
cool.
Reed implies the last one shouldn't count because Sue bit him in the butt, which means
Yeah.
Sue eats ass.
Okay, we don't need to get into the details of that. I
Hey,
think it was,
Warren Ellis did
yeah.
it.
Yeah, it's a bit much. There's a lot
Yeah,
of really out of pocket, really weird, horny moments in this
yeah.
series where even I'm starting to like clutch my pearls at
Yeah,
this. I'm like, oh my god.
it's been a while, but I didn't like Captain Marvel in this comic, Marvel, because I'm like he is way too horny in a way that makes me uncomfortable, and I'm like
I
he just
do
met this
like
species.
I do like Marvel in this because he's just very
Mm.
fun. But we'll get
Yeah,
into why
okay, but he's
later.
like an iguana person lusting after people. Do you know how disgusting it'll be if we found out, hey, there's lizard people that live in caves and they just watch us from caves with telescopes and goon off this entire time? You know how disgusting that is?
I mean, when you put it that way, that
That's
sounds
what he's
really gross.
doing!
I mean, he's like been surgically enhanced. He's basically a human now with these enhancements.
If you could turn into a cat with surgery, doesn't mean you should then start porking cats.
I mean, I'm a cat at that point. You know, we're getting into
No!
deeper philosophical questions. At that point, I would say I'm a cat. I do what I
No!
want. Yeah. Well, I'm not gonna like get it on with a human if I've been turned into a
But
cat.
you're a
That's
human!
weird. But I'm a cat.
But you're a human deep
I
down.
was a human. Not anymore. Anyways, then yeah, it's Sue's dad, Dr. Storm. He's calling Reed and Sue to the Triskelion, along with really the rest of the four. And
Yeah.
speaking of, then Reed and Sue like walk in on Ben and Johnny. They're the thing of the Human Torch using the particle accelerator to build like a still. And Reed's like, "You are using my particle accelerator to like make alcohol?"
Specifically vodka, because they're putting potatoes inside and they're trying to make the still and then age it.
It's so funny. I love these two goofballs. They're hilarious. I'm
It's
like, I
also
could read a whole series just about them.
it's also funny because I think like particle accelerators at this point when they wrote this are theoretical, and when they made a real one like 10 years later, like 2012, there was a debate. I was like, could this end the world if we turn it on? And I'm like, so these guys just might end the world to make vodka.
I mean, hey, why not? You gotta risk it for the biscuit sometimes, you know? You
Which
gotta
I mean,
risk it all.
I would definitely drink that one if they like if someone goes like, yeah, we almost ended the world, but here's some like vodka we made in the process.
Yeah, you know, take a drink, smoke if you got them. Ooh. The Fantastic Four are on their way out, and they're excited to meet the Ultimates. They're talking about. They're like, "Yeah, we want to meet like Iron Man or Thor or someone. That sounds cool."
But they've met them already.
They did?
Yeah, when they time traveled.
Oh, that's true, right?
Yeah,
Like,
and they didn't have a fun experience with them too.
yeah, well, that was kind of like an in passing, kind of like we're passing off like these time travel bandits to you kind of
Yeah,
thing of like, oh, yeah, they're all yours, Ultimates. They barely really interacted. There was also the time that Johnny made Ben like wear drag and tricked him into coming in drag to this party and had Thor watching the whole time. And Thor was like, "You're a jerk."
which might explain why he's so nice to Thing in the next few issues.
That's true, but he's nice to Johnny in this one too. So I feel
Yeah,
like, yeah, they didn't realize maybe they'd met earlier in the Mark Millar Ultimate Fantastic Four.
isn't this like a thing in comics where like Marvel and DC just sometimes have difficulty keeping track of like previous stuff?
Yeah, and like some writers are like better about it than others, and some editors are better about it than others at like just keeping track of like what has happened in continuity and what hasn't after like so many years of like continuity and stuff. And then some people just disregard things entirely because they're like, I don't care. I'm like, okay, well, we should at least address things when they've happened.
Yeah,
Anyways, yeah, but it's really funny because then Sue's like, yeah, big, hairy, muscly
Leslie
Thor.
Thor,
And I'm like, all right,
because
all
she's
right.
horn dogging after him.
Well, I think she's mainly teasing Reed.
I mean, like she said, I find Reed ugly already, and now she's like, I find this guy handsome. So maybe she's trying to trade up, you know?
I think that's a bit of a stretch even for
Ah
Mr.
ha ha.
Fantastic. Yeah.
I mean, like if you got like a beat or something, you gotta exchange it for a Lexus or a Porsche.
Oh, I mean, that's a fair point. I would definitely trade Mr. Fantastic for Thor, but that's just me.
I'll trade Mr. Fantastic this for Mr. Fantastic for Ultimate Thor.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
love Ultimate Thor, and I would
yeah,
definitely trade him for Ultimate Reed, who, yikes, we'll find out about what happens to him later.
yeah,
But yeah, as the Fantastic Four are flying over to the Triskelion, then they are like talking about they're supposed to get an escort, and they're met by Iron Man and Thor, the very same people that they were talking about meeting, funnily enough,
yeah.
which is awesome.
And Iron Man just kind of speaks in a weird way. Like,
Well, here's the thing about this is like such an awkward thing where like the last page of issue 2, it's like this big fun like reveal splash page of like, oh cool, it's Iron Man and Thor, right? They're posing and everything, they're flying, like it's supposed to be a cool moment. You'd think Iron Man would just have like a fun one-liner or whatever, but it's this whole like I'm looking at it right now. He says this, "Good afternoon, kids. They tell me the entire world is in danger from some hideous alien beasties once again. Terribly dreary, I know. So what we're going to do is fly across the continent very, very fast, discover all kinds of perfectly vile things, kill everybody, and then have a little drinky. Ready?" I'm like, you could have just made that like one line. This is so excessively wordy for a one-page like reveal at the end.
they say Tony Stark looks like Johnny Depp in Ultimates. It's like they make it explicit. Like Pirates of the Caribbean just came out. They're like, "Oh, it's Johnny Depp. Gotta make him talk like Captain Jack."
Is that how Captain Jack talks?
Yeah,
I
have you
mean,
never
have a
watched the
little
movies?
drinky. That does sound like Captain Jack
You
Sparrow.
never watched the Captain Jack movies
No,
or
I watched
Pirates of the
Pirates of
Caribbean?
the Caribbean.
Yeah, that's how he talks. I think.
Yeah. He's like, we're
Yeah,
gonna have a little drinky, see?
drinky, see, and get some
I mean, now he
gabagool.
sounds like a gangster. Captain Jack Sparrow being like, hey, we're gonna have a little drinky, see? And then we're gonna find the dead man's chest.
And get
Yeah.
some gabagool. I'm busting
Gabagool.
beans.
Yeah, yeah, Curse of the Black Pearl. Arr.
Yeah, I think it's because he doesn't talk like that in like the next few issues.
No, no, he doesn't.
Yeah,
We're also terrible at accents. Moving on.
gabagool.
Issue 3 is then when the art shifts over. It's Tom Rainey instead of Steve McNiven. Kind of sad, but I still like the art. We get to see the Fantastic Four and the Ultimates meet, which is probably like the big draw of these issues, I would say. And also the Captain Marvel introduction. A lot going on.
Yeah,
Tony Stark, Iron Man is trying to hit on the Invisible Woman, and he's like, "Oh yeah, your dossier didn't do justice to your charisma, Sue, and all this stuff, and like you could have ridden over on my arms instead of in that car."
and he just called her kid like earlier too, which is the makes it a little weird.
Yeah, and I'm like, Tony, just stop it, just quit. And it's really funny because she shuts him down so hard. She's like, "Listen, if I rode with you, then I wouldn't have been able to ride with my boyfriend." So I was like,
And
"Yeah."
he goes, most women like my armor, and she goes, you find one that doesn't.
It's so funny, and this panel, like, she shuts him down, and it's really funny because, like, there's this panel where, like, he's sulking and, like, slinking, like, hunched over and everything in defeat because he's failed so badly. It's hilarious.
Yeah,
I'm like, yep, maybe next time, Tony.
she has eyes only for Reed and Thor.
Yeah, maybe Thor. Maybe Namor, too, depending on, like, how much she meant that kiss.
Yeah.
Like, that was, whew. Anyways, I don't want to talk about it anymore. I don't know why I brought it up.
Thor goes like, "Oh, I see Ben. You and Johnny look like warriors. Let's get some beer over here."
Yeah, and he's speaking their language. They're like, "Did you hear that? Thor's gonna get us beer. Read."
I bet they're still like Ben's still like 20 and Johnny's like 17, and they're like,
Yeah,
because like I don't get that excited for beer. Beer is like an essential, not like a fun thing you get.
it's an acquired taste. I like beer, as we see when I casually drink during
I
the
also like
podcast.
I it depends on the beer. I like Guinness. I like dark beer mostly, but sometimes it's like nothing beats a cold beer after a hot day.
Yeah, honestly. So I feel that. And like I just love the dynamic. This is what I love about crossovers a lot of the time. It's like it's the whole point, right? It's like seeing these different characters interact and bounce off of each other and seeing what the
Yeah,
dynamic is like when these characters that you've come to know and love from different like franchises or groups like interact with each other.
yeah.
And so seeing like Thor like get along so well with like the Thing and the Human Torch and seeing them all bro out about like, yeah, well, we're warriors, let's get some beer. I'm like, these are my guys. Like I could read a whole series of like Thor, the Thing, and the Human Torch like just drinking and fighting and having a good time. Like they could be the new Warriors 3 in my head.
Same. I will say, like, we haven't seen a lot of Ultimate Thor. He just kind of comes and goes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we've mainly just seen him in like the Ultimates or
Not
like
even in the
Ultimate
Ultimates
6
that
or
much.
yeah, because he's on the outskirts of things because he's the more anti-establishment, like
Hippie.
hippie kind of like environmentalist, like fight the power, kind of character, which makes him cool. And he's like my favorite of the Ultimates and the only one that I think is like a decent person by
Okay, that
compare.
I do like that about Ultimate Thor. He is like the least crappy of the characters.
Yeah, like Ultimate Thor is by far the best. The rest of them all have serious issues and like cuz like the big issue with Ultimate Thor is like they think he might be crazy because they're not sure if
But
he's
he's
a
like
god
also
or not.
powerful.
Yeah. And that's one of the fun parts of the appeal is the ambiguity of like is he really a god or is he just like delusional?
Do you
Like
want
what is going
spoilers?
on here? Yeah, what's worse exactly?
Do you
Like
know the answer? Actually, they do come up with an answer later on.
they do, and
Yeah,
that's cool when they do that. But like, yeah, he's definitely the best
yeah.
part of the Ultimates for sure.
I also just love like the fear of like, hey, the most powerful person on our team is possibly not mentally well, and we don't know what the implications of that are.
And he also like, yeah, we have a tough time like motivating him to fight for us because he's very anti-establishment, and we are a huge part of the military-industrial complex. We are like
Does
tools for the government.
doesn't he like only come in at the last second because like we just doubled the international aid budget?
Yeah, like Bush doubled the international aid budget. All right, Thor's like, all right, let me pick
You
up my
know,
hammer.
if that happens, I'm like, so Thor, you're a double hero. You saved the world, and then you saved like a continent. So it's like
Yeah,
you saved the world 1.1 times as opposed to one time.
I love him for that.
Yeah, good on him. He did a double whammy.
Yeah. And so they're all getting briefed by Nick Fury, the Ultimates, and the Fantastic Four, and Marvel is there, literally wearing orange, like in his prison suit. Fury
Uh,
calls it the Guantanamo Bay getup.
that's just become a thing on the news.
Yeah, just like casually like joking about like torture and like sending you to like Guantanamo Bay.
They did say we're gonna torture you too, so you know.
Yeah. No, seriously. And so Fury like briefs them on who Ga Lak Tus is and also the events of like Ultimate Nightmare and like the
We,
first half of this series, honestly.
Fury says it's the reverse of God, and that's all we know about him. And that's like, hey, we could have been planning this, but like we got the news a century late because of the Russians.
Yeah, because like this thing was sent here to warn us, and he was stuck for 100 years in Russian captivity. Like the Soviets held on to him. He was there even after the dissolution of the Soviet Union. Like he's seen some serious shit. They
It's
created Russian super soldiers.
I love the meme of like someone like, yeah, I went to like save your country or your planet, but like I got stuck with the worst of you guys, so fuck you.
Yeah, so it's like this could be happening at any minute now.
And Ree goes, this is the answer to the Fermi paradox. We all know what destroys planets if they get too technologically advanced.
Exactly. So Reed's got his answer, and Marvell is also clarifying, like, listen, no one really knows like exactly what Galactus is, and people who do learn, they're like of the highest like level of classification and intelligence. Like the highest ranking people in the Kree know who Galactus is, and anyone who learns goes mad because the knowledge is like it will drive you mad, which is interesting. And I think that also relates to like it reminded me of like Earth 616 with Galactus about it was like in the Trial of Galactus storyline, John Byrne introduced the idea that every species sees Galactus differently and
Yeah.
visually like interprets Galactus differently. So he might not actually just be a giant dude in purple armor.
That's
He is
just how
like
humans see him,
yeah, that's
basically.
just how we perceive him. He is a force of nature that is interpreted and perceived very differently by different alien species. And it
Yeah.
feels kind of similar with this that like Galactus is a force of nature and you can't really understand Galactus. And if you do understand Galactus, you're gonna like go nuts.
It's like the thing with Cthulhu, where like you don't really understand if you know him, you just go mad. Which I
Yeah,
think is the
exactly.
point. I love this comic. It's Wolverine and the X-Men. If you might remember this, where this kitty gets kidnapped by this alien. This alien goes like, "This is how the world works. Humans are at the bottom. Mutants are above humans. Aliens are above mutants, and like big powerful aliens are above those aliens. So
Yeah.
I'm at the top of the food chain." And he goes, "And nothing eats me except Galactus."
Yeah. Galactus will always be at the top of the food chain, like no matter what. Like it's Galactus and the Phoenix probably. Those guys are like right at the top.
Yeah.
And so Marvel is like, and guys, I'm on your side. I like humanity. And this is what I love about Marvel in this. He's like, I love like Colombian coffee. I love Krispy Kreme. I
Uh,
love new episodes of Lost. And I'm like, this is a man of culture. This is what I'm
No,
talking about.
he likes
Yeah.
trashy. He's like every single time he opens and talks about humanity, like I'm just remembered of all the mistakes of the 2000s, the trashy reality TV, the bad fashion, the sugar and everything. This is what this guy is talking about.
And that's what I loved as a kid. And I'm like, my man, this is a good reason to defect from the Kree Empire, all right? This is why you should defect to humanity. It's the pop culture.
In fiction, whenever aliens or else was like, I defected because of humanity, because I saw the art, the music, the culture. They're
Yeah.
talking about the good ones, not like the trashy 2000s ones.
Yeah, I would defect to humanity because of, like, I don't know,
Mozart?
Glee. Yeah.
No, no,
Yeah, Glee, The Amazing Race. I don't know. Krispy
no.
Kreme is genuinely, I
Okay,
love Krispy Kreme.
I don't like. I know you just talked about this. Krispy Kreme's okay. I'm not the biggest fan of them. They're okay. They changed their corporate policy because of like an action like me and a few others did.
If
Like,
I watched, like, Breaking Bad, that would get me to defect. Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
okay, that's a little bit
If I, like,
Buffy and Breaking
encountered
Bad.
comics for the first time as an alien on planet Earth, I would totally defect to the human race. I'd be like, I don't know who this Spider-Man guy is, but sign me up. I want to be a human. Hell yeah.
You know,
Batman, let's go.
one day they're gonna discover like if possibly thousands of years in the past, aliens are gonna come down to Earth. They're gonna see Washington Cathedral, and they're just gonna assume, oh, humans must have worshipped Darth Vader. Because at this site of religious worship, there's just a statue of Darth Vader and Spider-Man. We're just gonna assume those are their gods or something.
Yeah, and that's exactly why Marvel defected, and it's why I would defect. These are my gods. No sacrilege meant. But yeah, he's also like, that's why I was excited about Asus, the ship, because I wanted some humans to escape.
Yeah.
But I was sent here because the Kree wanted you guys to die. They wanted to watch you guys die. And that's why they sabotaged the ship.
Yeah.
And so they come up with this plan. They're like, all right, we have a second ship, luckily, as like a redundancy for the Asus. And so we need to provoke the Kree into coming down and attacking this ship. We'll use it as bait. And then while they're distracted, while all their forces are spent on that, then we're going to like go up into space and like go into their ship and get the Kree data that we need.
Yeah.
On Ga Lak Tus. Yeah.
Napoleon's tactic.
Yeah, honestly. It's
Yeah.
pretty smart. And like Tony and Reed are vibing together and they're like shaking hands and everything as they come up with a plan. And Nick Fury's like, two nerds, ridiculous.
It's like I don't know if they ever are like this in the movies, but like it's how everyone in Tumblr made a joke about Tony and Bruce being science bros.
Yeah.
Though in this case, they also like the same girl, apparently.
Yeah. Well, Tony Stark and Reed Richards are like the OG Science Bros is the thing. Before Science Bros was even a thing, before the Avengers movie and everything. Because it sucked that at the time, Marvel didn't have the film rights for Fantastic Four, so they couldn't use Reed Richards and like bring him in and introduce him and like have him interact with Tony Stark, which would have been cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's like that same idea, like two big brains coming together and becoming like best friends, which is awesome.
They're the co-founders of the Illuminati.
Yeah, that's not great. I mean, if you think about what they actually have accomplished together, it's not, they don't really encourage their best instincts.
They saved the planet from the Hulk.
I mean, from a problem that they caused with the Hulk, because like they sent him into space and then he came back and started beating the shit out of everybody. He came back angrier and stronger.
And he almost destroyed the planet until the Illuminati stopped him.
Well, because they caused the problem to begin with.
I mean, look, if we dissect it forensically like that, we all cause problems that we have to solve.
I think shooting someone into space is like a very direct cause of like causing a problem. That's a very direct cause of the Hulk getting angrier, getting stronger. He landed on the wrong planet. Of course he's going to come back pissed. His planet was destroyed, or his city was destroyed. Not that that was their fault. He thought it was. But still, they sent him into space to become an enslaved gladiator.
He's a monster. He's going to destroy the planet one day.
They're more likely to destroy the planet than the Hulk, if I'm being real.
Okay, yeah.
Like the Illuminati, I'm talking Tony Stark, Reed Richards, Stephen Strange, Charles Xavier, I'm calling all of them out. Black Bolt, they're all going to destroy the planet one day. Mark my words. That was the whole plot of like Hickman's New Avengers, right?
Yeah.
They're all just like trying to save the world, but they're making all the most impossible, like worst decisions while doing it.
I remember before Secret Wars happened, they just destroyed a couple other Earths. And they were like, this solved nothing. We just massacred a couple billion people for nothing.
Yeah, don't get me started on Namor during that era. My man was like making enemies left and right. He was at his most dickish. He was at his absolute worst during that era.
I just like that Stephen Strange killed like Harry Potter in another universe. Harry Potter Doctor Fate combo.
Yeah, that was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Anyways, back to the story. Yeah, Sue's also like, oh yeah, I need to medically examine Marvell, make sure
Yeah.
he's not hiding anything.
Yeah, Marvell looked a little too happy about that though.
Because she literally, her wording was like, I need to see you without clothes on. I'm like, whoa, okay,
Oh.
take a guy to dinner first.
And Thor goes, I need to get like Johnny and Ben a beer. I haven't done that yet. And he calls Captain Marvel, or Carol, military industrial complex drone girl.
Yeah, like fetch us some beer. And then Carol's so funny because she's like, yeah, how far up your rear end would you like that? And he's like, well, I was going to ask for a keg. So now that you mention it, I was like, was he going to butt chug a keg of beer?
Well, it
Thor,
does
you're a
get you drunk
freak.
faster.
How would you know that, Josh?
I just I just know if you do some things to the butt, it's faster.
Yeah? And
Yeah.
how? How do you know?
Well, I just know. Like I've been to college, like get a tampon, fill it with beer, shove it up your butt, and it'll like do the trick faster.
Holy shit, Josh. You know way too much. You're this way too specific. Oh my god. I went to college and I didn't know that.
Really?
Anyways.
You've never tried? I mean, never heard of it?
I have never tried, although my roommate was a chem major and he did inform me that apparently that will actually do the trick, but I
Yeah.
never actually tried it,
This is
unlike
a
some
weird.
people I know.
What?
Anyways,
This
yeah.
is like a weird side note. Like they get a lot of weird stuff at the Air Force wrong. Like Carol, unless she was like a military police woman of some kind, can't arrest people. A captain's a
Mhm.
really relatively low rank, and I think they got rid of this because everyone complained. But I know in multiple air forces, including ours, the Air Force women unfortunately are used to bring food to other people. It's
Yeah.
even a thing in Transformers where there's like Air Force people, and Bush calls one to his bedroom to give him like a ding dong.
Oh, that's sexist. Ugh.
No, but that was like a real thing on like Air Force facilities for a long time.
Damn. Yeah.
So,
That's shitty.
or maybe Carol was just like standing up. She's saying, "I'm not doing this." It's like,
Yeah, of course she's not doing this. No way.
yeah.
But then Johnny and Ben are like, Reed, he's gonna get us a keg. Thor's getting us a keg of beer. Hell
It's
yeah,
like
man.
they're not 21, I bet, because no one's excited for a keg of beer. You just get one.
Yeah, exactly. I'd
Yeah.
be excited, but like,
I don't get excited. I just get one if I need a keg of beer. How much is a
because
keg?
you're a man.
Yeah, exactly. I'm a man. I'm a grown man. How much is a keg?
It depends on the kind of beer, I'm sure.
It's like, is it like a barrel or
Yeah, basically.
like this much or
I can't see your hands, but
like is it like can I carry it in one hand? A keg.
you'd have to carry it with two hands. It's
So it's
pretty
not
big.
like a big cup. Oh,
It's like a barrel, yeah.
okay.
Anyways, then we cut to Hawkeye and Black Widow arriving on a plane, and Hawkeye's training Black Widow to like use the bow and arrow because he's like, "Hey, one day you run out of ammo, I'm dead at your feet. Like nightmare scenario. You got to be prepared. You got to use this bow and arrow."
They also have like a weird relationship. She calls him darling, and also she mentioned she has like exquisite arms because she's a massive horn dog and everywhere, except the movies for some reason.
Well, yeah, it's different. I mean, they still kind of sexualize Black Widow in the MCU, but I don't feel like they did it as much as they used to do it pre MCU when she was
Yeah.
very sexualized.
As Jeremy Renner called her, didn't he call her slut? Like not even the actress, just the character slut.
Oh yeah, and he got hated on the internet by fans. He and Chris Evans had to apologize for that because they called her a slut and a whore.
Look,
As
I
a,
don't
like
want
a,
to be mean, but like she's not a real person. They didn't call Scarlett Johansson a whore. They didn't
yeah,
call
they're
like the
talking about a
writer a
fictional
whore.
character.
And
Yeah,
we got so upset about them like making fun of a fictional character.
yeah, it was kind of goofy. He had like Jeremy Renner had like a half apology too. He was like sorry for insulting a fictional character. But there is mentioning in this scene of Black Widow like being engaged to Tony Stark, calling him her fiance. So like their relationship romantically from the end of the first Ultimate series.
I think they're not in a relationship. I think because she was calling him that's like you said from the first Ultimate series, and she's still like planning to seduce him for his money.
Yeah, that's true.
I don't. If she says she has multiple marriages, and I'm like, maybe that's a sign like you should have married. It's in the name, Black Widow.
Yeah, don't marry her.
Yeah,
Like you're doomed.
and I think she's sleeping with Hawkeye too. Like it's
Well, he's got a family in this one, so I don't think so.
Oh,
I think they're just really close.
really
That's
He
where it
calls.
came from in the MCU.
Oh, she calls him darling though,
Yeah, but I mean, a lot of people call people darling
and a
without them
lot of
being
people
like
cheat on their
romantically
wives.
escaped. That's true, but I don't think that was the case here.
Yeah, I don't remember him having a family.
Yeah, that's where it came from. Like
Like,
in the
is it has it
MCU,
happened?
it was inspired by
Has it
Ultimate.
happened here so far, and I just forgot about it, or?
They might have mentioned it in the first Ultimate series, but they definitely get into it in the second one too.
Okay, okay.
Now, there's an interesting point that Hawkeye makes about how like everything's spiraled out of control. He's like, I hate working with superheroes. I hate like all this like rah big ultimate stuff with all these super powered individuals, and like now we're including children like the Fantastic Four.
Yeah.
And like he's like, yeah, everything's become so unprofessional. I just miss the days when it was just the two of us. Like we were like the big shots or whatever.
I
Not
bet he
really the
wouldn't
big
say that
shots,
about
but
Captain America. I bet he wouldn't complain about Captain America being
no,
unprofessional.
probably not. I mean, he
Yeah,
does complain about the "you think this A on my head stands for France," but that might have been like Warren Ellis poking fun at Mark Millar.
yeah.
But yeah, Iron Man and Reed are working together just
But
with Marvel.
yeah, Iron Man isn't really helping. He's talking, helping, not help like physically helping. Because then Rhea asks him like, "Why not?" He goes like, "It takes like too long to get in the suit."
Yeah, it takes a whole crew of people to get him in and out of the armor.
Yeah, kind of reminds of like in movie sets where like some costumes, especially superhero costumes, just take like a whole crew to get you in.
Yeah, no, that's
Yeah.
true. And that was how it was in the MCU with Iron Man. Like in the first movie, like he had like a whole set of drones like getting him in and out of the suit in the movie.
I'm okay with that, like the drones, or like you just need a whole crew to get you into your suit. That makes like a
Especially with
lot of
Iron
sense.
Man's armor. It makes sense on a technical level. So that's a
Yeah,
cool little detail.
I know there weren't a lot of Psylocke scenes in the X Men Apocalypse movie because it's just hard to get Olivia Munn into that suit.
Yeah, that's a tight swimsuit, like one piece to get people into. Like she literally said that like on day one, like the crotch in that suit popped open. I was like, it's rough. Yeah.
I know other like they said like yeah she had to be oiled down for like an hour to get into that
Yeah.
suit.
It's
I don't.
insane.
Like even the Tobey Maguire Spider Man suit I remember was like it's like incredibly uncomfortable and like expensive and just complicated to get you in. And I'm like, there's no
Yeah.
way Peter Parker in that universe made that suit if that's
No, yeah. Oh my
yeah.
gosh. But yeah, they're all chit chatting, and Marvell comments that Carol Danvers threatened him, and he seems to find that very attractive. And he's like, "Is it wrong to find humans attractive for that?" And I'm like,
Yes.
"Dude, you got some weird kinks, man. I'm not gonna."
Well, I think it's disgusting, but that's not a weird kink. I think that's a very normal understanding thing.
Oh, being disgusting is normal.
No, not being disgusting, but like having like being attracted to someone like able to kill you.
Well, they all make fun. They make fun of him for that. It's very much like a group of like three scientists like ribbing each other, like Tony Stark and Reed Richards and Marvel.
They're also using stealth technology designed by Einstein because you just got to throw that in there.
Yeah, they're talking about like the stealth technology to like, sneak their way onto this Kree ship when they go into space.
And it was built by
And
Einstein, apparently.
yeah, which is pretty cool. And
It's
Marvel puts on his like Kree suit and they're like, "Oh, that's awesome." They're
was
like,
like,
"I want to reverse engineer that."
um. Meanwhile, Carol's with Fury, and she was like, "Yeah, this is kind of getting weird to me. I'm not used to this." And Fury was
Y-
like, "This is awesome. What are you talking about?"
Yeah, Nick Fury's like, "Yeah, it's crazy, but it's cool. Like this is great."
And she's like, "No, it isn't." And I'm like, "You're right, Carol. You're right. It is kind of weird if you're like just there and you're just doing your job and you found out aliens are now like attacking you. You're gonna be weirded out too."
That is weird, yeah.
Yeah.
But so she's right for that, honestly. But yeah, like we're in the end game now, as they say.
We're in the end
Where
game now, Tinky Winky.
is that what they said in Endgame?
That's what they said in like a YouTube video making fun of Endgame. That I
That's really funny. They
thank you.
involve the Teletubbies.
Is that what the? Oh, because it's purple like the Teletubbies.
Yeah.
Just made that connection.
But yeah, they split up into two teams. So we have Hawkeye, Iron Man, Marvel, Reed, and Sue. They're all going into space to get on this Kree ship. Meanwhile, Thor, the Thing, the Human Torch, Nick Fury, Black Widow, and a bunch of like troops are defending the shield facility from these aliens.
Yeah.
So like that's how issue 3 ends, is like Fury and what's left of the Fantastic Four and the Ultimates defending against this alien invasion. And we pick up on that at the beginning of issue 4, where like there's this huge fight sequence going on, like a lot of like just big action moments with like the Human Torch and the Thing and Black Widow and Thor especially.
Fury has a giant gun. Lots of soldiers are there as well.
Yeah, exactly. It's a very like action sci-fi movie, like Independence Day, like fighting
Yeah.
against like an alien invasion.
They give Black Widow her 2 guns and a massive midriff.
Yeah, like she's in a very like thousands like action
Leather
movie heroine like
leather
outfit. Yeah,
midriff. But Fury goes, "We gotta split them up," which just like makes sense. So he has Johnny turn into the Human Torch and like try to draw a line. And Natasha goes, "His hot. After this battle, I want him oiled up and sent to my room."
before Tony gets back.
Yeah,
And I'm like, Natasha, he is a teenager. You need to stop. Like that is illegal.
yeah. Well,
Like
I mean, she's
don't.
probably a war criminal, so like, why not do another crime?
Yeah, like what's one more, I guess. Jesus Christ.
Like, do you remember, like, okay, actually, you haven't watched the show, but in like the 2000s, like spy shows were a big thing, and in all of them, like the lady does bang a 17-year-old for some reason, or a 16-year-old, and we're just shown as that being okay. And even at the time, people were like, "Why is this like a thing?" Because in Homeland,
Yeah.
the main character gets frustrated and she seduces like a 15-year-old Pakistani teenager.
Yeah, that's messed up. There's a lot
Yeah.
of issues with Homeland and
Oh yeah.
24 and shows like that.
Oh yeah. Everyone like now acknowledges like those shows were like maybe we shouldn't have. Yeah.
Yeah, like racist probably,
Yeah.
like
Super racist.
anti-Arab,
Yeah.
anti like Islamophobic too. Yeah.
Also, they're just okay with the main characters. Like, it's actually kind of crazy how like a lot of like pre 2015 media just has characters being rapey, and we're just supposed to take that as okay.
Yeah, it's not great.
Yeah,
So, don't like it.
yeah. Uh,
And
Marvel recommended it doing an EMP.
yeah, so Thor follows this suggestion and does his classic move of like jumping up with his hammer and like striking everyone down with one swoop with a giant lightning blast as he hits the ground. And he also corrects Fury on his pronunciation of Marvel, which is like, hell yeah, fight the power. Stop
Yeah,
calling him Captain Marvel.
he's a
Yeah,
woke liberal
woke
hippie.
king. Yeah,
Yeah, and possibly a god or a crazy person. We don't know.
yeah, not yet, anyways.
He does have a nursing degree. They did say though,
Yeah, that's true.
which is like kind of like an. It's like bad. It's not bad. It's just like an odd thing.
He's a humanitarian.
Yeah.
But then we cut to space, and Marvel is revealing how like the Kree ship works or whatever, that it kind of like sails, and even reads like I don't understand. He goes into this big techno babble about how it works, and reads like I don't even understand that. And
Uh,
Hawkeye's like, yeah, like kids get in the back, like come on, like, we got to be ready to kill. But he's like done with like having the Fantastic Four there. He's like done with everyone's bullshit. He's very grumpy. And he's
and
like, come on, show me some Kree as they like sneak onto the ship.
they just see Kree, like they're not even under attack. They just see a few, and he just kills one.
Yeah, he just starts like shooting Kree soldiers in the head because there's very few of them there, and he like takes them out because they need
Why
to
not?
at that point. Yeah,
And Iron Man just asks Marvel, like, "Did you defect because of human girls?" And I'm like, "You horn dog."
of course Iron Man would ask that. It's Tony Stark,
Yeah.
billionaire playboy. And then back on Earth, the Thing is having the time of his life, and he's like, I'm beating up on aliens. It's so funny. He's like having so much fun.
A giant blast goes towards Thor, and Thing just takes it.
Yeah, and he's like, "Yeah, I owed you for the beer earlier, so just don't tell Reed because he's clearly under 21." And he's like a real bro about it. And then Thor like is like understood, and he does the move again and jumps up above the Thing and smashes his hammer down on the ground and takes everyone else out.
Yeah. Back on the ship, they're just killing Kree, and then
And left
the
and
guy,
right.
yeah, the guy on the captain just remotely reverses Marvel's surgery, so
Yeah,
he starts
Yanrad.
looking more Kree. And Kree, like in the comics, look pretty human. Here, they're like iguana people.
Yeah, they look very different in Ultimate. They do not look like humanoid at all. So Marvel's like extreme makeover has been reversed, and once more he looks like an iguana person.
Yeah, now you're kind of discussing about him gooning off to people.
I mean, you know what? He can still enjoy Lost. He can still enjoy Krispy Kreme and Colombian coffee. I don't see anything wrong with that.
I'm not sure if this is a thing in comics, but I know in the show Young Justice, like they do a thing where they go like, "Oh, Martians just are obsessed with a human TV."
Yeah, I remember
Yeah,
that. Also, like John Jones, the Martian Manhunter in the comics, has his fun like obsession with Choco cookies, which are basically like DC's versions of Oreos. And
yeah,
I think that was one of the funniest things. I love when you give alien characters human attachments to human things and like earthbound things and show like, oh, this is their home too. Like, even
yeah.
if they are from another planet, like they've made this place their home.
But I kind of feel like with the chocolate cookies and like it's like, is it like an attachment or it's like you just got them addicted to sugar? Like sugar's already
Yes,
addictive to humans, but
it's both. Yeah, he's become one of us, and I love him for it. And then Hawkeye's like, "Nah, leave Marvell behind. Like he's just gonna slow us down." And Sue and Reed are like, "No, we're not leaving him behind." And Hawkeye's like, "This is so unprofessional." And Sue's like, "Well, if this is professional, we don't want to be professional."
and also we need him for the technology.
Yeah, Reed's like, "Hey, asshole, like we need him too for this Kree technology. Like, get over yourself." So I'm like, "Yeah, tell him, guys."
We
The
can't leave him
youth
behind.
speaking truth to power. Yeah,
He's the
can't
only
leave
one
him
with the
behind.
keys to the car.
Exactly.
He's our ride home.
Exactly. So they take Marvell with them, and Yanrog is in his little escape pod ready to get out of there, and he's triggered like a self-destruct system of the ship. And he's also roasting Marvell, and he's like, "Yeah, you're from this super religious family that is like
Who's super
super
wealthy.
rich." Yeah, like because Marvell's like, "Yeah, my dad designed most of this technology or whatever." But he's like, "Yeah, now I'm gonna go home and tell all of them how you're a traitor and you failed us and everything."
And you're too religious.
And like Jan Rog has gone pretty mad because he's one of the people who learned about Galactus, and now he's like, yeah, what we're here to do, we're here to like watch humanity like die and get killed by Galactus and consumed, so that way we can like find a way to survive after collating a lot of data of like all these dead civilizations that have been killed off by Galactus.
And the way he describes Galactus is kind of similar to like the DC's anti-monitor is what I noticed.
Mhm. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like the ending of all things.
Yeah, it's like, and I think it involves antimatter. He says too, like he's just like antimatter. He's literally opposite of God. God creates, he destroys.
Yeah.
But then like, he also gets like weirdly culty. He goes like, yeah, we will like, but Galactus will leave us alone because we will appease him.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, freak, you've clearly gone nutso. And then Sue's like, well, thanks, you gave us all the information we needed. And so, like, they end up taking all the data they need from the ship, and the heroes is flee and escape before the ship self-destructs. So they've won the day because they got the data they needed. On Earth, they've beaten the alien invaders, and Nick Fury's talking to Carol Danvers, and he's like, yeah, like I think we have a chance. Like I still don't know exactly what we're up against, but we have the vision. We have this Kree database that has information that we need. We might be able to pull this off.
He says we have half a chance now.
This, yeah, he's like, we might actually have a chance, which is really cool.
Yeah.
So that like gives us a sense of hope, but it also leaves us, wanting a little more for the conclusion for Ultimate Extinction, which is part
Yeah,
3 of this trilogy, the final chapter.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too. I can't wait.
I just love this mystery because we know what Galactus is, but like they just by changing things just a little, they added so much more mystery to this that I
Yes.
like. Yeah.
No, absolutely. I think it's been pretty fun because there has been a lot of like intrigue and espionage about this. There's been a lot of like gathering data. But I love
Yeah.
how it's kind of different from the original Galactus trilogy because it's not just about the Fantastic Four. Now you have like Ultimates, like their version of the Avengers there. They have like the X-Men involved too. It kind of reaches across the Ultimate Marvel universe. So it feels like this is a big event.
Yeah.
And I think it's for like a good purpose. I think this is actually like some genuinely good stuff from Ultimate, which you don't really see often, if I'm being honest, outside of Ultimate Spider-Man.
Generally, I like Ultimate Fantastic Four. I'll be honest. Like Ultimate Fantastic Four and Ultimate Spider-Man are my favorite. And even
Yeah, that's
Ultimate
fair.
X-Men has its moments.
Yeah, it does for sure.
I will say the Ultimates kind of reads like some of the. If we're gonna be really generous, it reads like something like Invincible or like a better version of The Boys, where like it's just like gritty take on superheroes. I think it's the only problem
Yeah.
is that they use like Captain America and these characters we love so much.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to see them do that to our boys
Yeah,
and girls. Yeah.
but they changed it just a little, like because that's what like Invincible and so many other franchises do is like they give you shitty characters who are similar to the originals, but they're not the originals, so you don't feel like bad about
I
it.
I will definitely defend Invincible in saying like I feel like that doesn't stand alongside like The Boys or anything like that. I think
Yeah,
Invincible is more than it's not really a deconstruction in the same way. It's more like a love letter
yeah,
to superhero comics and everything. So I feel like they are like analogous characters, but they're not like, they're not messed up like warped versions of these characters. They're
okay.
like actual like ones that genuinely go through like growth and development that you can't really go through in like big two Marvel DC comics.
Yeah. Okay. I should say like I like I have seen the show. I haven't read the comics. But like, it's other than the boys, I think these deconstructions are not that bad, and Invincible does get gritty at times. Boys is just
Yeah.
like I'm sorry, it's just not a good comic. It's just
Yeah, I've heard the show is much better than the comic.
yeah, which is saying something because I mean, like I feel comic movies and shows are sometimes actually better than the comic, oftentimes in a
No, that's
way
true.
that's not true with like books, but other books,
Yeah, there are
but
a lot of adaptations that I'm like, oh, this is actually surprisingly better than the original.
because they don't have to like adhere to a certain canon the same way. But like the boys comics are just awful. They're just kind of like a little too edgy.
Yeah, have you read them?
I read some of them, like
Yeah.
rats in people's asses when they kill them, because like I feel bad. And they
Yeah.
go, no, he's a bad person because see, there's a mouse he shoved up his butt, and I'm like, yeah,
Yeah, I think Garth Ennis as a writer, his stuff is just not really my thing. It's not really for me. Like even like the Punisher stuff too that he did, I was like, yeah, not into it. No
and that's
thanks.
and that's his big thing is that like he hates all superheroes except for Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
I think it's just Superman and Wonder Woman.
Really,
Yeah, I think he just doesn't like superheroes unless it's Superman or Wonder Woman.
I think his thing is that like I feel like superheroes have ruined comics, but I'm like it's partially that like everything in comics was banned except superheroes for a bit, so it's not their fault.
Yeah.
But yeah, don't hate them. They didn't play the game. They just were a part of it.
Yeah. And like there's genuinely good superhero comics that actually are really quality stories. It's not all just fluff and popcorn action filler.
I also know like a lot of great comic stories were because like the writers wanted to tell a story, but they used superheroes because that was the only way you could get that story out at like
Yeah.
because of censorship.
Yeah, and superhero comics have been used as a vehicle to tell all sorts of like compelling stories across genres
Yeah,
that aren't necessarily just a action superhero story. It's like this could be a sci-fi story. This is a fantasy story. This is a noir crime thriller. This one is like a horror tale. You know, it's been like told across a variety of genres. This is a spy
yeah.
thriller, you know, things like that.
Yeah, like that's what I like about comics is that like they just get so flexible about these things.
Yeah.
I do think now that we're past the era where only superhero comics are like allowed, like maybe we could. And there's been some stuff, some horror comics where like they are going that route of like it doesn't just have to be about superheroes, but like
Yeah.
that doesn't mean those are that now that it's allowed again, we have to invalidate everything and
Yeah,
not use that
exactly.
as a formula anymore. I'm like, no, it works. If it works, it works, and there's some good stories.
Yeah, I think comics as a medium, it's so much more than just superheroes. But that doesn't mean that like superhero comics aren't good too.
There's two comics that are on like America's list of like greatest novels. Watchmen and Mouse. Though I don't know if Mouse doesn't count as as a superhero comic, but you know what I mean.
No, definitely not. Yeah, that's not a superhero comic by any
But
means.
Watchmen is technically,
Yes, technically Watchmen, I would call that a superhero comic.
and
It
it's
is
considered
about superheroes.
one of the great American novels. It's
Even if
considered.
it is deconstructing superheroes, it is about superheroes at the end of the
It's
day.
owned by DC too, so
Yeah. So take that, haters.
yeah. And they've now in the main Rorschach's now in the main DC universe. So for some
Yeah.
reason,
Like pretty much Watchmen in general has been integrated into the DC universe,
I
which
kind
love
of
it
feel
or
that
hate it, I
it
guess that's
happened.
happened.
I hate it.
Anyways, any final thoughts on these issues, Josh?
I think I said my piece. They were fun to read. It was a little horn doggy.
Yeah, it
I
was.
yeah. I don't. It's like I know you disagree. I didn't like Captain Marvel in this, so
It was fun. I liked how we got to like introduce Captain Marvel and Carol Danvers, and we also at the like it did a lot in like a short amount of time. It was only 4 issues, but it really did so much in that such a short space of time, which is really impressive. Introduced new characters, acted as a crossover for the Ultimates and Fantastic Four, and acted as like a second part in this Ultimate Galactus trilogy. I think that's very impressive and somehow still managed to be like just an entertaining, fun story on its own. I think it was a really good time. Like you're saying, Josh, it could just stand as like an action sci-fi story and it works. It's super fun. So
yeah,
I can't wait to see where the rest of the story goes.
yeah.
But the next time, everyone, we're going to finish this up with Ultimate Extinction, the last part in the Ultimate Galactus trilogy. So stay tuned, guys. It's going to be a fun time. We're going to be talking about Ultimate Extinction issues 1 through 5. And Josh, until then, where can our listeners get in contact with us if they want to email us about comics we read, our show or comics in general or pretty much anything?
You could reach us at ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com. That's comics plural, podcast singular. So ultimatecomicspodcast@gmail.com.
Yes, please. If you're listening, reach out to us with your thoughts on pretty much anything. We'd love to read it on the podcast and respond to you. It would be a lot of fun. Also, we have plenty of social media, as you might know. You might be following us on Instagram, TikTok, or YouTube, all at Ultimate Comics Podcast. We post images from the comics we read. We post reels and TikToks, and we also have full episodes of the show on YouTube. Until next time, everyone, can't wait to get back to Ultimate Extinction with you. But till then, take care and make mine Ultimate Marvel. Bye bye.